going on there, YouTube? Recently in some of the comments, I've had some folks asking questions about axles. Not really. It's kind of hard to tell, especially if you're looking on like eBay and places like that. Sometimes people aren't the best at describing what they're selling, so you may not notice there's a difference between the Yota1s and the Yota2 axles, and they look similar, but they're quite different. And today we're going to talk about some of the differences in them. Okay, so main difference, they look different. They're the same style. They're the Toyota looking pumpkin, but they're very different. The Yota1 axles, which I have here in the back, they are two cast pieces of aluminum, and they're kind of a glossier finish. You can see the Yota2 here is more of a satin finish, but the major difference is the pumpkin cover here comes off of the Yota2. You pull this side of the axle off, and then there's 4 screws inside, and this side comes off. And you can buy the ARB covers. I think they actually have a couple different ones out now for the Yota2 axle. Whereas the Yota1 axle, you can see there's a seam through the middle, and it's just a 2 cast halves. So the pumpkin cover does not come off on these. And also, the one major difference is the diameter of the axle tube itself is larger on the Yota1 axle. The Yota2 is a little bit more scale, a little bit smaller diameter, a little bit more realistic looking. The main reason I did this because they're not that much more expensive. The Yota2s, I can't remember what they're going for right now. I know on eBay you can get a set of Yota1s for like $115, front and rear. The Yota2s are like $120, $130, somewhere in that range. They're not much more expensive. But the main difference is the hubs on the front. I don't have a front Yota2 here off of a vehicle I can show you, and I don't have the steering rods on here or anything, so I can't really demonstrate it. But there's a lot more play in the Yota1 axle, just by design. The Yota2 axle is a little bit tighter, and to me that's worth the extra difference to have less steering slop. It's just it's beneficial. The Yota1s come on the Trailfinder 2s, the standard Trailfinder 2 with the Mojave body, and the new one they offer with just the chassis only. And then the kit and the ready to runs, all the Mojave body Trailfinder 2s come with a Yota1 cast axle. And the Yota 2, the D90, the Cruiser, D110, they all come with the Yota2 axle. It's a little bit better axle, in my opinion. Also, the Trailfinder 2 short wheelbase, which I've got my Amigo back here, those come with the Yota2s as well. So that is an upgrade on that. Also, the Yota2s and Yota1s are completely interchangeable. So, let's say you've broken one of your Yota1 axles, you got an old Trailfinder you've been bashing on forever. You can buy a Yota2 axle and swap it out. It'll bolt right in. All the mounts are in the same place. It'll bolt to leaf springs or 4-link. The shocks will bolt to the same spots. Everything is the same. It's just a little more realistic, a little better steering, a little tighter steering. And I was also asked about the K44s. Now, I've not bought K44s from RC4wd drive. And that's for one reason alone. They're $300 for a pair, and I just can't justify that. That's too much. So I bought the Lesu G5 axles, which are basically a knockoff of the K44. They have a little bit different pumpkin cover, but the K44s and the Lesu G5s are just a tiny little bit narrow. I think your track width on those is going to be a 1/4 inch narrower. And like, say on the Blazer body, which is so wide, you really don't want to go any narrower on your axle. I know doesn't look right having a Chevy with Toyota axles, but unless you do something with your hexes, you space the wheels out a little bit, or you've got some really nice adjustable offset type rims, stuff like that to make it fill it out better. It's just a hair bit narrower, and I think they would work perfect on the short wheelbase Trailfinder 2 because of the narrower, with like the Amigo body back there, or even the Jeep body that it's designed for. It could use a little bit narrower stance. And you see I've got a couple videos where I'm trying to narrow those Yota2s a little bit, just with the wheel hexes and things I can do, modifying the wheels and stuff like that, so they don't stick out quite so far. And was able to accomplish that a little bit, enough to keep it a little more scale. But that's really it. I mean, for the price difference in the Yota1 and Yota2, if you're building a truck from scratch and you're looking at those two models, the Yota2 is the way to go. Like I said, there's nothing wrong with the Yota1s. They're just not quite as scale, and a little bit of steering slop. But it's not major. If you've got them, I'm not telling you they're trash to get rid of them or nothing. They're still good axle. I've got I got two of my trucks still have them. Both my Trailfinders back here. My red one and my blue one in the very back, you can't see. They're still on the Yota1 axle. Oh, I'm sorry, actually, too, my Blazer. My yellow Blazer over there is still on the Yota1 axle as well. So it works. It works fine. But the Yota2s just look a little bit better. But anyway, I hope to clarify that for some of y'all. I know it's a lot of information, a lot of different products, a lot of YouTube channels, a lot of different advice. That's just my 2 cents. So thank y'all for watching, and stay tuned for more.